very, very brilliant goals. I love them. Have man like HJ on. How are you doing, HJ, my brother?
Good one. Good one for us today.
Yeah, a good one. Trust me, very, very, very good one. A stress reliever, a morale booster. Anything you wanna call it.
Huh?
Anything you want to call it, as long as it's positive.
Yeah.
And it puts us in the in a perfect shape to go against Slavia Praha, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. We need to take this confidence into that Slavia game because that's where it's gonna be for us. That's gonna be the main one for us.
Yeah, exactly. But first and foremost, what's your reaction in this game? What is your overall take in the game?
I think it was very comfortable. We're playing the worst team in the league, 20th position. It's going to be comfortable. And I think with the players we have, with the players we went with, it was very different. Obviously, Xhaka playing left centre back, ceballos at times playing left wing back. It was always going to be difficult, but we coped well. We did very well, but I think now it's important. We need to do this against Slavia because that's where our season is now, not the league, but that in the Europa League now.
Yeah, and beautiful stuff, especially with finishing of the chances. It looks like we have learned our lesson overnight, because for me, what I really took away from this game is the way we finished off our chances, the way we just got our lesson. Like you need to finish your chances.
Clinical.
Clinical, very, very clinical on the first touch, on the first goal, very clinical on the second goal. Again, Gabriel Martinelli coming in with a do you think this is a performance that gives us something ahead in the next game? Does it give us an advantage probably against Slavia Prague that we are back to winning ways?
It's weird because it's Arsenal, usually you'd think it would give us an advantage, but it doesn't usually, and then we go back to being our old selves. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we can take this form into that game against Slavia. Lacazette being clinical, Martinelli going into that game. Hopefully he's going to start, doesn't put Aubameyang in, because I don't see why Aubameyang deserves a start, because Martinelli's been good in this one. You continue with Martinelli, and then you have Aubameyang off the bench if you need him. But we need to get some of our players back. Saka injured. What's going on? Is he going to be back for Thursday? It didn't look good. He had ice around his thigh and everything. Odegaard, is he going to be back? Smith Rowe, is he going to be back? A lot of question marks. And Slavia, they had a derby win today as well. They've gone like 40 games in the league without losing. They're unbeaten in like 38 at home or something. So they're going to be very confident. They've already beaten teams better than us in Leicester and Rangers, you could say. So it's going to be difficult, but hopefully we can turn up and get the job done.
Yeah, exactly. I think any Arsenal fan is going to say, what next? I think it's a game we have watched with divided attention. Some of our attention is on Thursday, the other attention is on this game, and I've seen many Arsenal fans telling me, Kosi, yeah, we have won it, but what about Thursday? Thursday. But first and foremost, let's talk about some of the performances that I thought were brilliant in that game. How impressed were you with Gabi Martinelli? His first start, he gets a goal, I think, ever since January last year, when he scored against Chelsea. How impressed were you? Because I think, for me, he just blows the defenders. He just adds that, that intensity. He just adds that, pressure onto the defenders. Something that Aubameyang has not been giving us, and has been starting, game in, game out. How impressed were you with his performance today?
Very impressed, but we know that Aubameyang brings that. But the question marks is, why doesn't Arteta play him more? And knowing Arteta, you probably drop him on Thursday, and then everyone will get mad at him for doing that. But I think you have to start. I think for the Slavia game, I'd start with the same front three. I'd go with 90% of the same 11, because you don't change your winning side. That's a saying. You don't change your winning side, especially when they've won 3-0 against Sheffield United. Yes, it's Sheffield United, but you've still won, so it's quite good. And hopefully we can, take that. Hopefully Martinelli can take that into that game. Obviously, the goal will give him a huge boost as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he must be very, very happy. You come off this run of not getting games, and you get this game, you score, you play brilliant well. Are you concerned with his injury, with his injury status, first and foremost, in that game?
You could say, but it's just the way he fell. I was a bit worried maybe it would be something more serious, maybe an ACL, because that's why I initially feared it could have been. But yeah, let's just hope he can stay fine, because if we're gonna have Odegaard out, Smith Rowe out, Saka out, Aubameyang maybe out, then we need Martinelli to stay fit towards the end till the end of the season, to give us goals, crucial goals, get in the right positions at the right times to get us the goals that could hopefully help us win the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he needs to be very, very fit. I don't know whether he's gonna be fit because he was coming off before he scored the goal. Then he luckily stays on, gets the goal. I think that boosts his morale, and I just pray he's okay. Saka, what was Saka playing today? Where was he? Where was Saka playing today? Look, I did see that game. I saw him in the midfield. I didn't understand where Saka was playing today. What was he doing in that game? How did Arteta set him up?
I think he set him up in a way like a free roll, where he can do anything. Not anything. Like, he can move wherever he wants. He can pick up the ball wherever he wants, because he links up with Pepe, he links up with Martinelli and the other players around him. So maybe Arteta's told him, look, other players are set up in a positional sense, and you can just be my free man, my creative man, who can move across that front line, who can help me get the chances to win this game.
Yeah, and do you think he played well? Do you think he?
Yeah, I think he played. I don't think he played brilliantly, but I thought he played all right, especially he played all right. He just played all right. In the first half, towards when we were good in the first half, where we scored the goal, I thought he was central to the good stuff that was happening. But then in the second half, he drifted a bit, and it wasn't great. But it was all right. It was a different shape. He's still a young player, and
yeah. Worried about his injury?
Yeah, definitely, because he's such a key player for us. So key. He's probably been our best player this season in terms of overall. He's dragged us out of the mud at times in the season, and it's going to be big to miss him against Slavia. But hopefully, if it's not going to be him, we can get other players back, like your Odegaard, Smith Rowe, like I've said many times. And that front three of Pepe, LACAZETE, Martinelli, maybe that's the front three we need now to move forward.
Yeah, exactly. Away from Gabi, Martinelli, LACAZETE, is he your man of the match? I think I gave to him the quality finishing and the brace. I think you're satisfied. Does that mean we start with him against Slavia Praha and he delivers?
I think he could have done this on Thursday against Slavia. Finish the 1-1 chance, because that's where we need it. It's all good doing it against Sheffield, but we needed him to do it in that Slavia game. But yeah, it's a difficult one for me, and he needs to do it in this. He needs to do it in the next game. He's man of the match today, but he needs to do it consistently.
Yeah, you're right. I think the consistency and that has been the problem. That performance against Sheffield United. If you want to get the better results, you've got to give it to us a little bit more consistently, but they never come consistently. I won't be surprised if we see Arsenal throwing in a poor performance against Slavia Prague, because we lack the consistency and they don't know what we are going to do with that. But still, I'm very optimistic. Again, the Thomas Partey pass, that was so crazy. That was so good. The energy, the timing, the way he reads Alexander Lacazette's move, and I don't know. There are times when the assist is better than the goal. For me, I think this is one of the times. Partey, were you impressed with him generally in the game, or that was the only moment that bailed him out in this one?
I think it was a physical game, and he needed to be good today. He needs to be physically up for it, and he really hasn't been at times. And I think it was a good performance. It was solid. Commanded that midfield, and he was always going to do that. You're playing the worst team in the league, remember? And that pass, he turned his man and then he put the ball through. Very good for Lacazette. Another 1-on-1, and he finishes it.
Yeah, and I just pray we could we see more and more of these performances, because you want to see them as a fan. You just want to see good football. It seldom comes at us, but you just want to see that. Bandano kept a clean sheet. I have two players that I think were not so great. Chambers and Rob Holding. I think Chambers a little bit so shaky at the beginning of the game. I don't know why. I don't know whether he was panicking or so on, but he was, he was so shaky at the beginning of the game. Rob Holding, I don't know what's so wrong with Rob Holding. He had improved, I think, before his injury, but then after he goes, when he got that injury, he went back. What's your comments on Rob and Chambers?
I don't think they were that bad. They didn't. Sheffield United didn't cause them any problems. So it's like, they just went about their thing. Chambers put in 1 or 2 great crosses. Obviously, the system was a bit confusing for them. And Chambers, other than the last few weeks, he hasn't played much football. So it's gonna take a bit. But again, you're playing the worst team and in the league, and it was still a 6 out of 6 for both of them. For me, it wasn't that bad.
Exactly, and this is what I've been saying on the match reaction. I think before you came on, that we might see Arsenal. We might look at Arsenal and this performance as great, as good, but that's not what we expect. That is not even a half of what I expect Arsenal to be playing. Because there were times when Sheffield was running over that midfield. There were times when Sheffield was doing everything, at least for 3-4 minutes, and you're like, where is Arsenal? What are we trying to do? We were hiding. But do you think that is that still goes back to the quality of the players, or do you think that is courtesy of the formation we played? Because Sheffield is one, like you said, it's one of the worst in the league, but we didn't manage to bring out a very, very maximally good performance.
I think it was down to maybe the main thing was injuries, and maybe the second thing was looking ahead to that Slavia game. Because maybe if this was let's say this was like a big game, let's say this was our biggest game, for example, then maybe we would have seen Smith Rowe. Maybe he would have forced back Smith Rowe, forced back Odegaard. Maybe they are just about. Maybe they're 90%. Maybe they are. And he just didn't bring, maybe because he's looking ahead to that game against Slavia, and he says, look, Odegaard's been one of our best players since January. Smith Rowe's been one of our best players this season.